So imagine pulling an iPhone out of your pocket and then just opening it like a book. Yeah, that's where things are heading. Apple's been taking its time watching everyone else experiment with foldables, and now it finally looks like they're ready to jump in. But in a very Apple way. This thing isn't just a folding phone. It's basically trying to replace both your iPhone and your iPad at the same time. And if the leaks are even close to accurate, this could easily be the biggest shift to the iPhone lineup in years. First off, the design is nothing like what you'd expect from a typical iPhone. When you unfold it, it's actually wider than it is tall, which already makes it feel completely different from something like the Samsung Galaxy Z Fold. Instead of that tall, narrow look, Apple's going for something that opens like a proper book. On the outside, you get this shorter, wider display that almost feels like a compact iPhone, but then you open it up, and suddenly it turns into something much closer to an iPad mini. And here's the wild part. Apple is reportedly trying to completely eliminate the crease. No visible line down the middle. No weird reflections when light hits it. If they actually pull that off, that alone would fix one of the biggest complaints people have with foldables right now. The build is also expected to feel very ultra. Titanium frame, super thin profile, and when it's folded, it's apparently thinner than you'd expect for something that's basically two devices stacked together. Kind of like taking the design philosophy of the iPhone 15 Pro and pushing it to the extreme. Although, slightly boring color options. Rumors say just black and white. Very Apple. Now let's talk displays, because this is where it gets really interesting. On the outside, you're looking at roughly a 5.4-inch screen. So think iPhone mini vibes, but wider, which should actually make typing and everyday use way more comfortable. Then you open it up, and you get something in the 7.6 to 7.8-inch range. That's basically iPad mini territory, so for watching videos, gaming, or even just scrolling, it's a completely different experience compared to a normal phone. It's one of those devices where you're constantly switching between quick phone stuff and, okay, now I want a big screen. Cameras, though, this is where Apple makes an interesting trade-off. Instead of going all out like their Pro models, the Ultra is expected to come with just two rear cameras, a 48-megapixel main and a 48-megapixel ultra-wide. No telephoto, which means, yeah, if you love zoom shots, something like the iPhone 15 Pro Max might still be the better choice. But because this thing has two screens, you're also getting two front cameras, one on the outer display and one inside. Perfect for video calls no matter how you're holding it. Software is where Apple could really make this shine though. With iOS 27, they're reportedly adding proper multitasking, like running two apps side by side, plus layouts that feel a lot more like an iPad. Not full-on desktop-style windows like iPadOS, but enough to actually take advantage of that bigger screen. So you could be watching a video on one side and replying to messages on the other without it feeling cramped. Basically, iOS is finally growing up a bit for larger displays. Under the hood, you're getting the new A20 Pro chip, which is expected to be a pretty big leap. We're talking a 2-nanometer process, better efficiency, and smoother performance across the board. Pair that with 12 gigabytes of RAM and a faster memory setup, and this thing should absolutely fly, whether you're multitasking, gaming, or just pushing that big display. And Apple's also continuing its move away from Qualcomm with a new in-house modem, which could mean better battery efficiency and tighter integration overall. Now here's something you probably didn't expect. No Face ID instead, Apple is bringing back Touch ID in the power button. It sounds like a step backwards, but when you think about it, it actually makes sense. With two displays and such a thin body, fitting Face ID hardware on both sides would have been a nightmare. So instead, you get something similar to what Apple already does on the iPad Air. Quick, reliable fingerprint unlock built right into the button. Not flashy, but practical. And finally, the price. Yeah, this is not going to be cheap. Most leaks point to around $1,999 as a starting price, and honestly, that wouldn't be surprising at all. This is Apple combining a phone and a tablet into one device, so they're clearly positioning it as their most premium product ever. The real question is, does it actually replace both? Because if it does, suddenly that price starts to feel slightly less insane. But if it doesn't, then this might end up being one of those super cool, super niche devices that only a small group of people actually buy. Either way, one thing's clear. Apple isn't just entering the foldable market, they're trying to redefine it. So now I'm curious, if this actually launches like this, are you buying it or sticking with a regular iPhone?